This is my way too early top 25 for the 2024 season, and today is January 15th, and the season doesn't start until late August, so a lot will change between then. But here's my first reaction to the transfer portal, the recruiting classes, and how I think the team will do next year. I'll go through the top 5 and then pick out a couple teams to talk about. So at the 1 slot, I do have Oregon, and they had some key players hit the draft this year. I truly believe between the transfer portal and development in their system, between Dylan Gabriel, Jordan James, and Evan Stewart, I think all those positions will be better than they were this year. Number 2, I have Ole Miss. They had a very electric and promising team this year. The big spot on the team that was lacking was their defense. And what did Lane Kiffin go do? Hit the transfer portal super hard and got so many impactful defensive players. Number 3, I have Ohio State. With all their defensive players returning, plus the addition of Quinshon Judkins. Oh, and don't forget Ibuka coming back. I think they'll be primed to be at the top of the Big Ten next year. I am a little worried about Will Howard and if he will get them over the edge. Texas at 4 with Quinn Ewers coming back, and I was a little worried about replacing the production of Worthy and Mitchell, but between Isaiah Bond, Wingo, and Matthew Bolden, I think they'll be more than fine. At 5, I have Missouri. This is a prime example of these TikTok comments. Everyone said I was the biggest Missouri hater last year, and I just wanted to see the downfall of Missouri. If that was true, why would I have them at 5? I just speak facts. I evaluate the rosters. I look at returning players, transfer portal, and new recruits. Speaking of that, Missouri is primed for a great year this next year. Key players coming back but Cody Schrader, but they got Marcus Carroll from Georgia State in the transfer portal, and as he might not be as good as Cody Schrader, I think he won't be too far off. Now just to pick a couple, we got Georgia here at 6. We saw this year that their big hit was their offense, especially their weapons, and they are losing about 75 production this next year. And I'm not super high on ETN. Unless some of these young guys can ball out in spring ball, I have to keep him 6. Alabama, Michigan, and Washington sit at these locations. Alabama, I think, is just going to have a slight down year next year with all the roster turnover plus a new coach. But I'll have to see what they all bring in to truly evaluate that roster. Michigan, I hear they're having talks about Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers, and if that's so, they will drop even more. Dead Fish just went to Washington. I'm just not sure how much of that Arizona team will transfer over to Washington. And finally, I got Miami at 21. I previously had them just outside. With the Cam Ward signing, I think they could potentially compete for the ACC championship, which would give them a playoff spot.